Hey, good morning. It's Albert Kaufman here. I am a thought leader around email marketing and social media. I've been teaching people and organizations how to use these tools for the last 12 years in Portland, Oregon, and I work with about 250 small businesses and sometimes larger organizations, helping them with their marketing, and I can help you as well. I hope you enjoyed today's presentation. Alrighty. So what I would like to talk about is today I've titled the talk Email Marketing 102. And I've been doing an Email Marketing 101 class for a while. And I decided that I'd like to do a 102 type of class because we're ready for that. So I'm in a constant contact account. Everything that I talk about today and everything that I show you is available in many different kinds of email service providers. I use Constant Contact. I'm a partner with them, and I have been for the last 12 years. It's the product that I've gotten most comfortable with, and I think it's a fine product to work with. And I also want you to know that everything I'm showing you today can be used on many other email service providers as well. The main thing that I want to get across to people is use an email service provider. That's a much better route to go than not using one and using, let's say, just your straight up Gmail account or something like that. So that is the first point of business. So now that I'm in a Constant Contact account, I wanted to show you some areas that most people don't get to go to or don't think to go to. Across the top, you can see some of the different choices of places that you can go. I want to start with an interesting area called in the My Settings area. And this is important for anyone sending out email newsletters at any time. This little area over here where it says authentication, now I have that set to on, and that should always be set to on. So this is a setting that you want to set so that your email is authenticated by Constant Contact. And why that is important is servers on the other end are looking for any reason to block your email. And if your email is not authenticated, then there is a much higher likelihood that it will be blocked. So you don't want to have do not use authentication. So that's something to look into on your end. I'm going to stop sharing just for a second here and do that. All right. There we go. Back to, so that's one thing that I want people to all have a look at. And whatever internet service provider slash email service provider you're using in a combination, you want to make sure that you have authentication set up. And there's also probably something that you can do with your internet, with your website and your email address on that end as well. But for our purposes today, this is the area that I want you to focus on. This is another thing that you should know about within this product is you can always add more email addresses to your account. And you can have emails coming from different email addresses depending on who and what you're sending. So for instance, these are some of the email addresses that I send from. Now, if I choose to send from another address, that address will likely not be authenticated. So that is a downside. But if you have multiple projects going, that may still be worthwhile to do. So that's an area to look at. And also this email features area is an area that most people would never go to. By the way, happy 11/11. It's 11/11 right now. That's a big moment in my life. These are some different things that you can also set and change. You can have your update profile email link set to on for people. You can also have the unsubscribe comment box on. And usually that just gives people a chance to, well, we'll look at it. It gives people a chance to say why they're unsubscribing. So here I've got the option, would you like the update profile link removed from my footer? No, I wouldn't. Would I like to include a comment box to record the reason to contact unsubscribed? Yes, I would. And that gives people love to give feedback, whether it's a survey or or in this case, why they're unsubscribing. People always like to give feedback and they like to give you an opinion. So here is what my footer looks like right now. And you can see that people can update their profile and they can also unsubscribe and such. So those are some choices that you have within the email features feature. Also, some other aspects that are available are the ability to forward to a friend. I don't think that is really working these days. Set up PayPal, that's another thing that you can have going so that you can always have PayPal active in your account in case you're wanting to take payment for things. All right. Another area that I wanted to talk about is autoresponders. I haven't really gone into autoresponders all that much because it's a really more of an advanced feature. So I'm going to show you how to set up an autoresponder. The first thing that you want to do is you want to set up an email list that the autoresponder will feed off of. So an autoresponder is, let's say, well, I'll show you some different kinds of autoresponders, but first, the first step is to create an email list. So I'm going to call this, let's see, listening better list, leaning into Jim's forte there. So we've created a list called listening better. The next step is to create a sign-up form for that list. So here I am in the sign-up form area. Now, there are a bunch of different kinds of sign-up forms. I'm going to choose the new lead generation landing page sign-up form. And this is definitely a 102 type of activity. So within this, I get a chance, first of all, I'm going to call this listening better landing page. And within Constant Contact, they're now calling this piece of code a campaign. So it matches up with, if I go into other campaigns, such as newsletters or events, the landing page is now becoming a campaign as well. So here are some of the different things that I can do to create this landing page. I can change the logo if I want to. I can change the headline and I can change the description. Right now I'm going to leave all three of those. For design, I can choose an outer background if I want to. I think right now I'll choose something just so you can see how that will look. So I'm going to choose, I know I've got some leaves in here, so I'm going to choose fall leaves and insert that. Now you can see how that landing page has got a nice background. I can change the fonts. I can change the link color. I can change the button color and so on. So that's, and what's nice about this right now is I can also, as I'm making the changes, Constant Contact is saving this. So every move that I make is saved for the time being until I actually click the save button up here. So actually it's not letting me save until I'm actually done. So the next step I usually say is I like to collect email address and first name, and I make the first name required because I want to know something about the people who are signing up. And then sometimes there are other fields that you might want to include. If this is a list around birthdays, you might include a birth date. If it is something where it's area dependent, you might want to have a zip code. You might even want to make that required. Know that the more information you ask for on a landing page, the less likely someone is to fill out and follow through. So just know about that. So settings, here we are. Now we can go to the list that we just created a moment ago called Listening Better List. So there's the list. I can also make a customized URL for this, and I can just call it listen. And then Something else that I might want to do is go to this area called Thank You Page. And again, I can now design this. And one of the nice features of this here again, I've got my sign up page, thank you, comes to here. I can change any of these aspects. And I can also then under settings, let's see here, thank you page. No, I guess that's all I've got, is that's what the thank you page is going to be. I think under settings I can also, there should be a place where I can then redirect, instead of going to this thank you page, I can have it go out into the world. So I'm going to finish this up and I'm going to click on publish. And now that landing page, if I sent you a link to it, that link is right here. And if I open that link, you can see what I've just created. And what did that take me? 5 minutes? So imagine you could have a different sign-up page for each different kind of project that you have. So now I'm putting in I'm actually filling out the form, putting in my zip code, putting in my name, and I click on sign up. And if I look, I have signed up for that list. And it was that simple. So that's just something good to know, just how easy it is to create a landing page. A landing page, sign up form, these are all things by the same name. Now if I wanted to, I could click on promote and I could move it out into the world via social media if I want to. I can make an ad from it. I can make a Facebook business page from it, and then I can just do a lot of different things. So I'm going to skip that. And other ways to do this or to get this out into the world would be to send it out via my newsletter, for instance. So here also you can see the within campaigns, this is now my landing page that I just created. And I'm going to go to that again, just so you can see now I've already, since I signed up, I've got a visit, I've got one subscribed. I can actually click on that contact and see more information about the person if I want to within Constant Contact. So there's all sorts of ways that the data points back and forth to itself. I'm not going to take a survey right now. All right, so next up, I've created the landing page for this list. And the next thing I want to do is I want to create an email series. So I'm going to create an email automation. And so now I get some choices here. Is this going to be a series? Is this going to be a one-time thing where when someone signs up for my offering, they get a response back? Or is this going to be a birthday email? Now I'm a huge fan of this particular email, that when I know a person's birthday or a person signs up for one of my lists and they include their birthday, I include them in my birthday email send. And what that is, it's a beautiful thing. Some of you probably already get it. And that is just an email newsletter that comes to you on your birthday. And each year I customize it differently. And right now I have 850 people who are signed up for that. And so every day I hear back from people who are grateful for something coming their direction on their birthday. Now I don't customize it for each person. I make one each year. This year I included a video of myself singing happy birthday to you. And what's really neat about email marketing and social media in general is we're writing to individuals. I am writing to you. When you receive something from me, it is coming from me to you. So the voice that you use in all of your writing, everything should be, imagine you are actually talking one-to-one to somebody. Too many people write their newsletter and say, hi friends, or something to everyone. And you're missing out on an opportunity to actually go directly between you and the other person. And the birthday email does a great job of that. Again, here's one more. I've never used this one before, anniversary email template, but you can remind somebody on the anniversary that they signed up for your newsletter or whatever they signed up for, that it's been a year, and thank them for their kind attention, that type of thing. All right, so in this case, I'm going to show you an automated series because we are in the 102 world. So let's say this is going to be Listening Better series, and I always title everything. I always give everything a title because otherwise you just end up with things that are untitled. So when a person clicks on a link, let's say a person joins the list. That's the most typical thing. And let's say they join the list that we just created, the Listening Better list. Then what happens? Well, the person joins this list, and then I'm going to edit this to say immediately they are going to get an email. I will create a new email just for this purpose. And this will give you an idea for those of you who haven't seen the new editor that Constant Contact has. This will give you an idea of some of the features there, and I'm going to kind of whip through them. Let's see, how about I'm just going to use this template, which is sort of pretty. I like purple. So this will be, in a moment, the welcome, to the listening list, Listening Better list number 1. And, some things to know that are in here. This is your header area. So, this would be a place to say, welcome to the Listening Better list. And, we're glad to have you. And then down here, you've got the from name, the from address, and the reply to address. A key thing right here is the subject line. You can't spend too much time figuring out what subject line to say. This is between this section right here and this section right here. Those are the two things that someone looks at when they decide to open an email. So for instance, here's my Gmail inbox. And I decide when I look at who it's from and what the title is, what I'm going to do with it, whether I'm going to open it or not. So, boom. Here's an example right here. So, just know there's information out there about subject lines. I've done videos that are just about subject lines. I can't emphasize enough how important subject lines are. You basically have 2 words and 2 seconds to entice somebody to open your email. Now, if it's somebody who loves you, or somebody who's expecting something from you, or somebody who's like an ongoing reader of your stuff, then of course they will be with you, and then there's no worry. You could just say mud, and the person will probably open it. All right, and just quickly, I'll show you a couple quick things that you can do here. You can move things around now. You can stretch things. You can add in social. There's some social ability that you can add in. That's right over here. So I can add, come on. There you go. So I can add in social buttons that go to my social sites, or I can add these share buttons, which is more of what I recommend. You can also do things like bring in a personalization feature, a greeting tag, highly recommended. So anyway, imagine that this is all about listening better and the tips and tricks that Jim's going to share with his readers. And this is just number 1. So basically in here you would say, welcome to our list. We look forward to communicating with you more. In here, you're going to get, in this series, you're going to learn these top 10 things. You'll hear from us every couple of days. If you have more questions or you'd like to order our book, here's a link to that. All right. You can do a quick test, sending it to yourself. You can check for errors. You can, that's actually kind of a cool thing just to see. So here it's telling me, okay, I'm missing a couple of links. I always recommend that everybody send things to themselves. So here I'm going to just quickly send this to myself, and that way I can check on the other end what that looks like. We'll take a look at that in a second. And then I will click on continue, and this will take me into the area where I can decide again when I want this email to be sent. And then after I'm done with that, so okay, the first one's set up, and now I can say, okay, I'm ready to add to the series. Then now I am going to wait 4 days until I send the next one. And I'm going to click on copy an existing email. And I'm going to click on, let's see, where did it go? It's probably sitting right in front of me. Anyway, let's say, I'm not finding it right this second. Oh, there it is. I'm sorry, it's right on top. So there we go. It's copying the first one. And now it's going to allow me to edit that second email. And I can open this up. I can move these around. I can change the order, I believe. And I can do a bunch of things with that. So here's email number 2. And it even changed the title of it for me, which I'm really grateful for. I didn't realize that it does that. That's a real fun thing about demoing something. So here's the Listening Better series, step 2. And so the first one was called Welcome to the Better List, Listening Better List. And now I'll say, Listening Better List, step 2. And obviously you would do something more interesting than that. But you've got the whole template that you created in the first email, and you probably want to keep that the same. And now you just want to say whatever the information is that you want to share in your second email. So now I'm going to say, let's say I've done that. And again, this is a part where you're going to take some time and you're going to craft a beautiful series. If you're doing a 10-part series, let's say, that could take you maybe 20 minutes or a half hour for each one. But when you're done, you get something really fantastic. And I'll show you an example of that in a moment. All right, so here now I'm done with that. I've created a couple. And now if I click on activate, then the series begins. And when someone signs up for the Listening Better list, they will then work their way through this series. I'm going to show you now what that looks like once people are actually engaged in something. So here I am back to the campaign area, and I'm going to go into the automated area. That's where and now I have 49 automation series. Some of them are just test series like the one I just created, but some of them are actual. Here's the birthday message one, for instance, and that would show you how many people I have participating in that. Let's see. I have one called How to Be a Better Neighbor that I'm working on. Oh, here's one. Okay, so this is a life tips series that I've been working on well, I finished working on it actually. It's 11 parts, and you can see some of the feedback, or not feedback, but some of the process of what's happened. So here's when someone joins the Albert's Life Tips #1, or joins the list, then they get the first one. So that went to 303 people, and the open rate was 67%, which is very high in email marketing. My normal open rate is probably 15 to 20%. So now you can see the second one. So some people unsubscribed right away. They didn't like my tip, I guess. 4 people dropped off. And the second one was sent to 299 people. Again, a very high open rate. So you can see that these do work. Now you can see I'm on number 3 or 4. I'm number 4, clean the bathroom. And you can see that 2 people are in the queue waiting to get the 5th one. And now here's 1 person in the queue waiting to get the 6th one. And 1 person in the queue waiting to get the 8th one, etc. And so there's 3 people sort of towards the end who are about to get the 11th one about mentoring. So there you go. That's just a little bit of an explanation of how autoresponders work. And I hope you have found that helpful. And I'm going to sign off right now. And thank you so much for watching today. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. So I'm